They laughed when my husband called me replaceable at his retirement party, but none of them knew I was the one holding the evidence that would rewrite everything he'd built. I'm Priya, I'm 42, and I work as a regulatory data archivist for a pharmaceutical distributor in Edison, New Jersey. My job is invisible by design. I catalog what others overlook, flag inconsistencies, and make sure records survive long after people stop caring about them. For most of my marriage, I did the same thing at home. I noticed. I remembered. I stayed quiet. I met Arun when I was 28. He was charming, driven, and older by 8 years, already climbing the ladder in his company. He liked that I was steady. I liked that he seemed certain. We married quickly, had one daughter, and settled into a rhythm where his career came first because it always seemed urgent. I told myself sacrifice was temporary. I didn't realize it was becoming permanent. The betrayal didn't begin with cruelty. It began with absence. Arun stopped coming home for dinner. He guarded his phone, laughed at messages he wouldn't explain. He told me I was imagining distance because I didn't have enough ambition of my own. I believed him longer than I should have. The night I discovered the affair, I was backing up old files onto an external drive. His emails synced automatically. Hotel invoices, complaints about how invisible he felt at home, plans with a woman half my age who worked in his department. The emotional devastation hit hard and late. I threw up in the sink, then cleaned it quietly so my daughter wouldn't hear. When I confronted Arun, he didn't apologize. He said he'd earned happiness. He said I was replaceable in every way that mattered. A month later, he announced he was retiring early to start a consulting venture with his new partner. He told our families I was bitter and unsupportive. At his retirement party, he joked about finally being free. People laughed. I smiled because I was still gathering information. The rising tension lived in my chest like a held breath. Arun filed for divorce and asked for shared custody, minimal support, and the house, claiming he'd funded most of it. He underestimated two things: my patience and my memory. Years earlier, I'd helped him organize old work files when his company switched systems. I'd kept copies because that's what archivists do. You never assume something won't matter later. The turning point came when I reviewed those files again. I noticed discrepancies between reported trial data and archived drafts. Small changes, missing annotations, patterns that suggested results had been altered to accelerate approvals. Arun's signature appeared on the final submissions. The timelines overlapped with bonuses he'd received and the start of the affair. I didn't feel vindictive. I felt calm. The kind of calm that comes when confusion finally resolves into clarity. I submitted the documents through the distributor's compliance portal, anonymized and precise. I said nothing to Arun. I let the review process begin. During our custody hearing, the judge paused proceedings when notified that Arun was under investigation for regulatory misconduct tied to patient safety. His consulting plans dissolved overnight. His credibility collapsed in real time. The resolution was devastating and quiet. Arun's retirement benefits were frozen pending the outcome. His professional licenses were suspended. The affair partner vanished once the future he'd promised evaporated. In court, custody leaned in my favor due to instability and ongoing investigations. The house stayed with me so my daughter wouldn't be uprooted again. I didn't celebrate. I went home, cooked dinner, and helped with homework. Healing came slowly, in routines and mornings that felt lighter without tension. I took a promotion I delayed for years. I stopped shrinking myself to preserve someone else's ego. The final punchline is this: Arun thought invisibility meant weakness. I've learned it can also mean perspective. When you're the one no one watches, you see everything. And sometimes, that's exactly what saves you.